Hello everyone, this is Bart Grabowski from CloudWalkers, and I'm going to present today the feature how you can easily and quickly manage the virtual adapters using the LPARKit. I think that's the easiest and the fastest way how you can do this stuff these days from the green screen interface. So again, the assumption is that you already have the partition either with the NPIV adapters or with the vSCSI adapters, and with the LPARKit, you're getting the opportunity or the functionality how you can manage these adapters from the green screen. So first of all, we have to go to the storage management menu, then you go to virtual adapter management, and now you have to decide which adapter you want to play with. So first of all, I'm going to present something about the NPIV adapters. So I'm gonna select the first option here. And I have to select the server. Of course, I have only one server in my lab environment, so I'm gonna select the server. And right over here, we have multiple partitions, and just take one of these which have the NPIV adapters, and we want to play with these adapters right now. So I'm gonna take this guy, and this guy, actually this is the session about that guy, and these are all the NPIV adapters you see. So we have like 4 of them. Let's see how they look from the LPARKit perspective. So again, we have 4 adapters. The adapter number is the virtual slot ID, which you might know from the partition profile configuration. So whenever you create the virtual adapter, it has some slot ID. And you have also the information about the VIOSes. So only 4 VIOSes are supported in the tool. In our test case, we have 2 VIOSes which deliver the resources. So you can see that each of the VIO has one physical fiber port which provision the connection. So let me see, and I will take adapter number 11, and I'm going to unmap that NPIV adapter from that interface, from that menu. So option number 4, hit enter. I'm gonna switch quickly to the partition, and I'm gonna do F5. So let's see what's happened. You see, one of the adapters became inoperative. So that's the situation that we cut the connection to the SUN network. The worldwide port name, which is behind this adapter, is no any longer visible to the SUN infrastructure, and you can perform some maintenance wherever you need. You can also use that menu for remapping. So if you decide for one reason or the other that I don't want to provision that virtual adapter through port FCF0, and FCS0 is the physical port on the physical adapter, fiber adapter. So I want to use another port, maybe on another card, and I'm gonna send that that virtual worldwide port name to the SUN network through the completely different path. I can do the same from the LPARKit, and I can do that with the option number 1, map physical port. So let me demonstrate this. I'm gonna take option number 1, hit enter, and the LPARKit provides you all the ports which you can use for such operations. So all these ports which you can see on that menu, these are the only ports which are NPIV capable in my infrastructure. So maybe I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do that for FCS1. So I can select this guy, hit enter, couple of seconds, it runs, and what we can see on the green screen, I can do F5. This adapter is again back to the game. So it's getting the operational, the SUN network can see it, and everything is working fine now. So that was the demonstration about the NPIV adapter. So let me quickly move to the vSCSI management. So for vSCSI, you have another option like manage LPAR vSCSI disks. So with this operation, we don't manage the adapters. We manage the disks, right? So you can imagine, you probably know that if you have vSCSI disks, those vSCSI disks are provisioned to the VIO, virtual I/O server. And on that virtual I/O server, by the specific commands or by specific operation, you decide to which logical partition that disk will be visible, right? So you might have like 100 disk mapped to device 1, but you're gonna say that those 5 disks will go to partition 1, the other 10 disks will go to the partition 2. So this is something which you usually do on the VIO, but right now you can do the same thing with the LPARKit. So let me demonstrate this one. So I'm gonna take option number 2, I'm going to select the server and I'm going to select the partition where that thing will happen. So I'm going to go for the vSCSI. So right over there, you can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 virtual adapters. So let me show you that partition. How does it looks like? So this is actually this partition, and all these adapters are the virtual SCSI adapters, and they provision probably some disks, right? So I can do option number 9. This guy doesn't have any disk, but this guy have one disk. Let me check the other one. This one also have a one disk, and that guy has also one disk. So I will take this adapter, so CMB10, and I can see that there is already one disk assigned through that adapter to the partition. What I can do from the LPARKit, I can take an option number 8 and I can select the adapter number 14 because I know this adapter is 14. I can do this and it will tell me the disk from the VIOS perspective. So this disk is named on the VIOS HDisk1. It has 60 gigabytes, and this is something like known unique ID, which allows you to identify the disk on the storage array, right? So every disk has some unique ID, and that's that ID how you can easily find it. So what I can do from that menu, I can add some disk to that partition. So I will select option number 1, and I'm going to add, let's say, 2 disk to the controller and to the partition. So 2 disk, I'm going to hit enter. It will perform some operation because again it has to talk to the HMC, it has to talk to the BIOSes. I can switch now to that partition. I can do F5. Let's see if it's already up. No, it's not there yet. So this operation needs some time. I can do F5 again. Here we go. You can see that we have 2 new disks which were added to that controller. So this partition, of course, has more disk, right? So if we now look to the configuration, we have more disk than we had before. So again, I can go here and I can see 3 disks. If I will go to that adapter, I can do option number 8 again, and I can see that that adapter is hosting now 3 disks. I can do the same trick with removing the disk. So I can take option number 4, and I'm gonna say that let's remove a disk, right? So let's remove HDisk number 1 from the configuration. Hit enter. And there is a question, do I want to remove the same disk from all BIOSes, right? Because if you want to have redundancy, that's how usually the configuration works. So you have a disk which is delivered to 2 different BIOSes, and these 2 BIOSes, they provide the redundancy that in case that one BIOS is unavailable, you still get the connection to the disk through the second BIOS. So that menu is asking, do you want to remove the disk from all BIOSes? And I'm gonna say no, I just want to remove from one BIOS. So it will take some time again, performing some magic in the background, and the disk is removed. However, there is one trick with the green screen. I'm doing now F5, and you can see that none of the disk has changed the status. So why is that? Because usually for the green screen, it takes more time to detect that it lost the disk, as if the disk was delivered as a vSCSI disk. So what I can do to speed up that process, I can reset that virtual IOP. So I will go to the SST. I will go to the service manager. I'm gonna record a resource. I'm gonna take that IOP, and let's quickly do option number 6, reset, and let's do the IPL just for sure. I'm going back to the green screen again, work hardware resources STG, going to the same virtual adapter option number 9, and you can see that one of the disks became inoperative. So after IPL, that status will change again, but so far the only status which you get is inoperative. So in other words, that disk is no longer visible for the operating system, right? You have to just be careful. Just be sure that when you're removing the disk, be sure that this particular disk which being removed do not belong to the ISP. If you're gonna remove the disk which belong to the ISP, you know what's happened. Why you might, well, you very likely see the crash of the operating system, right? The one more thing which I want to present you right now is the management of the NPIV adapters from the IO perspective. So like from the IO card perspective. So if you have like a server with multiple fiber adapters with multiple ports, and you want to, for one reason or the other, you want to map or unmap these client partitions, you can do it from that menu. So again, you have to select the server, and that menu provides you all fiber ports available on the machine, right? So you can see that that adapter or that port, because this is the port ID, port number T2, it's delivered through the vials number 2, and it's known as FCS1. And you can see that actually on that machine I have 2 fiber ports, which each of them contain 2 fiber physical ports. And that number tells you, like 3 to 1, it tells you how many virtual clients are connected through that slot. So I can take option number 1, and I can see how many partitions are provisioned through that port. So again, you can see like a LPAR ID, slot ID from the LPAR perspective. From the VIOS perspective, you can see also the WWPNs. You can see the server slot ID, slot name on the VIOS, which you don't, very likely you don't need to know, but if you need for one or the other reason, you can also find out from that partition. And you can very easily, you can map, unmap that virtual fiber port from that. So what you can do, if you want to release that port because you want to replace the cable, you can take all of these. Option number 4, you will take out the network from that port, like, you know, very quickly. You can also map that ports very quickly. The last thing which I want to present you is the reporting. So if you have like a multiple clients, multiple logical partitions, or multiple fiber adapters, and you want to have some report who talks to whom and how it's connected, everything together, you can take one of those 2 options. So either create a spool file, or you can create a CSV file, which you can later on import to the Excel and play with. I will present you now how you can play with the spool file. So we will select that report. You have to select the server. Bum, bum, bum. Some magic is in the background, and it created a spool file. So we can quickly go now to the spool file. And here we go. You have all the information about all partition, all virtual slot on that server. So slot IDs, VIOS names, physical card location, worldwide, the virtual worldwide port names, how that worldwide port name is connected to this to the SAN network through which physical port, and so on. So this is something which I think is very helpful if you're planning some maintenance, or you have to do some reporting, how my virtualization is connected. So that's pretty much it, and you can get the very same report from the spool from the CSV report. So thank you for your attention. If you want to see other features, please look to the other webinars or look to the website cwalkers.com. I will be very happy to present you anything what you'll be interested soon. So thank you very much, and thank you for your attention again. Thank you.